Thank you. Welcome one and all. My name is Kate, I make videos about books and bookish things, and welcome to the grand tier ranking of everything I read in my first year at university. It had to happen at some point. I've been making videos for what, a year and a half now, and I haven't done a single tier ranking yet. This was inevitable. I just hope you see this as a natural progression of me making videos and not a severe downgrade in my usual content. So the way this will work, I am going to go through absolutely everything that I read in my first year of university that was longer than a standard poem. Essentially everything I read for all of my modules, here they are now, aside from Introduction to Poetry, in which I'm only going to talk about the one longer poem that I read. You've heard it mentioned already. I have a PowerPoint down here because I was so organised with this that I actually prepared notes for everything, because I don't want this to be like an hour-long video, because I wouldn't watch that, even me, and so I'm not going to put you through it either. Of course, I feel like it goes without saying, but every opinion I share in this is my own opinion. I actually went through this PowerPoint after a night out with some friends at the start of this week, and so we talked about every single text. And I was amused by the great array of opinions that we had. Some people completely agreed with me, other people, we had some massive discussions about the texts, but of course what I share here and the rankings that I give are completely mine. This is my individual experience of these texts as I encountered them on my courses. Don't come for me. This is all a bit of fun. And of course, I may end up repeating some things that I've said in previous videos. I did do wrap-up videos of everything I read across the 3 terms, so those will be linked somewhere. You can go watch those for extended thoughts on a lot of these texts, but I will end up talking about some of the ones that I didn't talk about in those videos because I had nothing interesting to say. So, you know, consider this the wrap-up of the wrap-ups. And the pictures I'm going to be using in the tier ranking itself and on screen are hopefully of the edition of the text that I read. However, sometimes there just wasn't a good cover, so I've just put whatever Google could supply me with. I will be linking everything that I read down below because I read almost everything online, and so I'm making information accessible to you. You're welcome. Basically, the place I would go is archive.org, so if I haven't mentioned anything, it will almost certainly be on there if you fancy taking a look. So without further ado, here is the tier ranking system. I have gone for 6 different tiers with very distinctive titles, and I will walk you through them right now. So the top tier of text is Slayed Anyway. Essentially, I would have enjoyed this if I hadn't read it for my degree. Like, if I had picked this up for whatever reason, I would have still really enjoyed it. This is for the creme de la creme, the stuff that is just objectively good and fun. Down from that is Worth a Degree. It was worth reading. I am glad to have read it, if only for the degree, and would I have enjoyed it if I'd picked it up on a whim for a bit of fun reading? Probably not, but did I enjoy it within the context of studying it? Yes. Next is The Vibes Are There. This is like mid-tier. This is stuff that I enjoyed for some aspects, but mostly because I could make fun of it or joke about it, or just was able to get some level of joy out of it even if I didn't expressly enjoy the text. The next category is, sorry, who? This is basically just for the texts I forgot I studied till I was looking through the lists to make this video and went, oh shit, I read that. Then we have Yikes TM. This is for problematic texts. This was for books that I did not enjoy because they were problematic. Enough said. And then the bottom tier, Get in the Bin. I don't think I have to say more about that. It's the bottom tier. And now it is time to begin placing texts onto our board. So the first thing that I read for my degree was Moll Flanders. This was useful for comparing to other texts, but within its own right, it was quite mediocre. I didn't hate it though, so I'm going to say it was worth a degree. Ah, the second Shepherd's Play. Who knew people could be funny in the 1200s? I quite enjoyed reading this, however, I find it unlikely I would have enjoyed it if I picked it up of my own accord. Worth a degree. Beowulf. Basic, boring, I already knew the premise, but like, I wrote about it a lot and it was quite useful and I didn't hate writing about it a lot, so also worth a degree, but like on thin ice. The Story of the Grail by Chrétien de Troyes. This was so funny, had all the perfect Arthurian romance vibes. I really liked this. It slayed anyway. The Everyman. It was basic, it was Dr. Faustus, but a bit more boring. Sorry, who? Never again. Dr. Faustus. Pretty funky concept-wise, but I have literally not thought about it since. Sorry, who? Emma by Jane Austen, an iconic text. I genuinely really enjoyed this, and of course it kicked off my obsession with the 2020 film version of Emma. 10 out of 10, iconic, adored it. If I loved it less, I might be able to talk about it more. It slayed anyway. Ah yes, Lanville/Lawnful by Marie de France or Thomas Chester, depending on which version you're reading. It was alright. I haven't given it a huge amount of thought since, but like, it gets some credit for funky dominatrix fairy wives. Ah, Hamlet, the man, the myth, the legend. It was pretty good. I already knew pretty much everything about it, but like, it's a solid play. It was worth a degree. Okay, so I'm gonna have to look at my PowerPoint for this. This is the list of texts I read from this book. The Wife's Lament, The Wanderer, The Dream of the Rood, The Battle of Maldon, and Judith. These were all Anglo-Saxon poetry, and they were all so boring, apart from Judith. However, I have to give it a downvote because the story of Judith is, ironically, more interesting in the Bible. Sir Orfeo. I have a friend called Carrie who really loved this, but I will be honest, I have not thought about it since the lectures. Sorry, who? Jane Eyre. Oh my god, this is so good. I feel like you don't need me to say that this is really good, but I do have a quick tangent to go on, which is that I am going to find Rochester sexy, even though he is evil, in the same way that we are allowed to find evil women sexy. I am sorry, I do not make the rules. I will romanticise their relationship despite condemning Rochester as a character in this and in White Sargasso Sea. It slayed anyway. Nuff said. The Rover. The vibes are immaculate. It has the same like comedy and social commentary as Shakespeare. I'm just shocked that I had not heard of Afraben and her writing up until this point. It's great, I have nothing against it, it was just not one of my favourites. Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. This is an absolute banger. I did not think much of this at first, but upon rereading it ahead of exams, it really grew on me, and now it is probably my favourite of the Old English texts we studied. Like, it's really objectively funny and has a very wholesome message of like, just do your best at the very end. So yeah, slayed anyway. I'm really glad I went back to this. The Beggar's Opera. Okay, I mostly like this because I saw an adaptation done by Knee High Theatre called Dead Dog in a Suitcase and Other Love Songs, which was immaculate. However, it is still a really good play in its own right. It's just bad people doing bad things. The vibes are there. The Knight's Tale and the Franklin's Tale from Geoffrey Chaucer's Canterbury Tales. I thought The Knight's Tale sucked, and I thought that The Franklin's Tale was really good. So, on balance, there we go. The Iliad. It's basically just battles, Agamemnon being unreasonable and the gods being even worse than Agamemnon. Like, it was fun to meme about, and I'm glad to say I've read it, but like, wasn't worth much more than that. Paradise Lost. Fuck Milton. Like, I get it's objectively well written, but oh my god is it boring. Like, I don't want to put it any higher, even though it is technically well written, and I enjoy dunking on Milton, so it is only going in the vibes are there, because I cannot bear to put it next to things I actually enjoyed, because I did not enjoy this. Völuspá and Aslak Vida. It's funky Norse mythology, the vibes are there. Heart of Darkness. This is our first yikes, but it will not be our last. I understand that racist things can be technically, literarily good, but still, I also understand that it is critiquing imperialism. However, it is racist. Joseph Conrad, you suck. The Cenci, another yikes right off the bat. Percy Shelley wrote one play, made incest a massive feature within it, and then was like, why is no one putting on my play? Read the room, my guy. Oedipus the King. Look, sometimes the classics are the best. Maybe Aristotle had a point. This is the one time I will give credit to him for his opinions, because it is a really good tragedy. It's slayed. The Importance of Being Earnest. You know this is excellent, however, my reason for putting it in a lower category than I perhaps should have is because the lecture sucked, and so I completely forgot that I studied this. So, unfortunately, it is a sorry who. I'm so sorry, Oscar Wilde. Pygmalion. Again, I genuinely forgot I studied this, completely slipped my mind till I was looking back through my list. Sorry, who? Death of a Salesman. It's objectively good, it was really good essay fodder, it was so easy to write about. However, I don't care massively about it, it's not a very enjoyable play, it's so sad, so Vibes are there. Raisin in the Sun. I thought this was so good at the time, but my lectures on it never happened because of the strikes, and so I had no reason to think about it again, so oops. Ale Saga. Was I going through an amnesiac period or something? Because I genuinely remember almost nothing about this one. It may also be the saga structure though. They're just really badly structured in terms of being able to remember the stuff that matters. It starts with, here's the family tree of everyone that doesn't matter, and then halfway through you get to the title character. Boring. Get in the bin. I'm sorry. Lacte La Saga. I think this was the saga with a girl boss in it whose husbands all die. However, it was a saga. It was boring. I'm sorry. In the bin. The Aeneid. Virgil said, hey Homer, can I copy your homework? And Homer said, yeah, just don't make it obvious. Homer work? Homer work? Can I make a Homer work pun? No, I need to not do that. Anyway, not the best epic, but then again, I still haven't read the Odyssey. I may do that over the summer just because I think it's the epic I'll enjoy the most, but yeah. Sorry, Virgil. Wide Sargasso Sea. Really interesting exploration of the implications of Jane Eyre. A really good modern classic, and it's super short. Extra credit goes for that. Waiting for Godot. Why did I read this? We never had the lecture on it, and I have not thought about it since. But even if I had had the lecture on it, I still don't think it would have made sense. Fuck that. Midnight's Children. Absolutely fascinating, and has made me want to read far more world literature than I had. With a degree that is so focused on white Western stories, this was just a breath of fresh air, and it was just such a really good, interesting, well-written book about nostalgia and identity and childhood. Loved this. The Saga of Gili Surson. Basically just Criminal by Britney Spears, but way longer and more boring. Get in the bin. Aristotle's Poetics. I'm giving this man a yikes just for being a man with opinions. He genuinely said in this text, theatre's not going to develop more than the Greek tragedies. This is the limit of human creativity. To which I just say, are you actually kidding me? Hello, fly. So yeah, I'm putting him in yikes just for being a man with opinions because I think it's funny. He was right about Oedipus, as I said earlier, but yeah. Top Girls. Think girl boss, but also a critique of Thatcherite politics and capitalist feminism. Not a single skip. It is so well written, so clever, so perceptive, and I fucking love the convention of overlapping dialogue. Straight to the top. Song of Roland. Fuck that. It's not an epic because it sucked. I hated it. Angels in America. You know I'm putting this one at the top. Sometimes the Andrew Garfield girlies are right, but it is not just because of Andrew Garfield, it is because it is a stunningly written play. It takes up so many pages, and yet it is worth every single line of dialogue. Genuinely a perfect text. Everyone should experience it. Metamorphoses by Ovid. I really like this. This is probably one of the lamest texts that I genuinely loved reading, but like, it's snarky, irreverent retellings of Greek myths by a Roman. What more could you want? It's only not right at the top because it wasn't one of my favourites, but like, I really, really loved it. Le Mort d'Arthur. You know that saying, oh, so-and-so walked so that so-and-so could run? Yeah, Chrétien de Troyes ran, and then about 300 years later, Thomas Malory tripped straight the fuck over. The most boring version of the Arthurian romances. Get fucked. In Cold Blood. Truman Capote really said, I'm going to be so objective and journalistic about this, and yet I'm also going to critique the interior design choices of a family that got brutally murdered. Yikes. Yikes just for that. Also, I get this was meant to be like a really, really new and exciting way of writing fiction, but it's just boring. Watchmen. I unironically became so obsessed with this after reading it. Like, it's so good, but it is also the complete opposite of everything I enjoy. So if anything, I think it gets more kudos for making me enjoy those things. Straight to the top. Oh shit, okay, we're at the end. There we are. That is everything that I read for my first year of university, and here is the final tier ranking. I hope you enjoyed this video. This was such a fun trip down memory lane, getting me to think about all the stuff I've been reading since September of this year, and a really, really good way for me to reflect on first year and what I have gained from it. As I'm sure you could tell, I thoroughly enjoyed my first year of reading, and this has just been such a fantastic year for me. I've loved being an English student, and I hope this has shown in all the videos I made about my life at university. I hope this has been interesting and a really good quick-fire way of getting reviews of all these different texts, especially as so many of them are, you know, classic, canonical books that everyone has heard of or is told they should read. Feel free to like this video if you did indeed like it, and comment down below if you have any really strong agrees, disagrees, or if I've convinced you to pick up one of these books you might otherwise not have done. It's been really, really good getting to reflect on these texts with an audience of people who aren't reading these because they have lectures to go to. So yeah, if you have your own opinions, please do share. Feel free to subscribe if you want to see more of my bookish content, and I will see you next time. Why the hell does there have to be crime while I film a video? Sir Orfeo, I had a friend, just a little bit shadowy, it's fine. My videos have looked worse. Oh man, my throat. Kate discovered clubbing. That's what happened. I went out last night and oh boy, I should not have been shouting for that long. It was very fun though. Anyway, it slayed. I've said slay for this video more times than I have in the last 20 years of my life. If this fly doesn't go away, I'm gonna have to commit a homicide on camera. Sir, can you not? I think this is the most chaotic video I've ever filmed. It's so warm.